back and forth at each other in recent days. Well, stay tuned for today's video where we'll see what will happen if they go to war. Hi guys, welcome to today's video. In today's video, we'll look at a scenario in which Iran and Israel end up at war. Though this doesn't have much to do with reality, just do with, because, well, it's an idea. Not really much realism, I wouldn't say, because it's going to evolve into an actual war. And well, quickly, they get neighboring nations that want revenge for being taken at. And well, before Iran's forces can ever arrive, a quick offensive is launched into Lebanon and Syria, to the southern parts of these nations. Enter the West Bank area. They enter over there, take over. And then they move into here, because they already have that, and then they move even further, quickly capturing a big chunk of the southern parts of both of these nations, with this being a full-on invasion, with Iran finally managing to arrive some troops here. But they fail for a few days to get in. I wonder why. I don't know why, but I wonder why. And well, some nations are thinking of this could be a great opportunity, but they managed to bring another nation in. And well, this makes it easier to get troops, so another offensive is launched by Israeli forces, and they manage to take over Lebanon. And they try to take over the coast, but they fail. Come short of that, and they open up more pushes north towards that area. And well, one nation's plotting a revenge twist, yes. And well, Saudi Arabia decides to join. Yeah, they want revenge for all the problems they've been given by one nation. And they start an offensive into the southern area of Iraq. And well, it goes really well. They manage to advance all the way to here. And well, they end up in two fronts being opened against them. But they manage to push back one front significantly. And in the other front, they move it back. As they manage to cross the border and even make a naval landing, which leads to them landing over here and managing to move through over here. With quickly, they manage to circle a bit, but not a lot. And well, the nation's going to cause problems. Yes, how do they do that? I don't know. Yeah, but we will. As they manage to advance into about there. And well, they advance a bit further. Just to take a small area. With forces managing to get behind the desert front. Arabia is basically forced to pull out all the way to here. Even just a small area. But yeah. And then they launch a counter-offensive over here. Though that's not the main area of fighting. But another advance is made. With advance after advance. Doesn't seem like it's going to end well. But they managed to launch a counter-offensive. As well as extreme groups see Iran as its liberator. But it's actually the oppressor, most likely. But most likely not. Who knows? Well, Iraq gets fully out of there. Well, one nation gets angry because their favorite country is being attacked. Yes, their favorite country. Yes. I bet all these nations are happy now. And well, they only sent like 500 people. I'm sure they couldn't get that big of a force even if they wanted to. They could. They probably couldn't. And they get a big enough force that's useful, but small enough that nobody gets angry. And well, it makes a big impact. It pushes them all the way back out of there. Only a small amount, but it did a lot of work. And another small amount. Well, they try to get Turkey, but Turkey doesn't want to. And well, they manage to take Dharmacus, and they start pushing back. They manage to reach the northern areas of this nation. As well, they manage to gain control of this without any fighting. Do this, pushing them back further, with Arabia taking the chance to launch an offensive towards Baghdad, with them getting to about there. But they start entering Iraq from interesting areas, with this front being continued. Well, they managed to start pushing into northern Iraq. And they also pushed towards Baghdad, which they managed to take. Not very important, though, for this video, but yeah. Important enough, but not the most important part. With Iran trying to hold this, yes. Well, after seeing this not doing well, a group of anti-war protesters end up causing a rebellion to start over here. Yes, anti-war protesters. Turned to rebellion. And well, they're not the only groups. With Israel and allies managing to take opportunities to cross into Iran in one area, and they also land over here in a resource-rich area to try to hinder the economy. With them not liking the situation, they start more people turn on the government in Iran. And well, in the north, or right there, a rebellion starts. Yes. A rebellion, an anti-war rebellion. These don't really do much, they just exist. With them managing to land over here and open the front up, as they take this area, and where they landed, they try to launch a nice offensive north. And well, I just realized there's no counter-offensives once they started winning. With the army still functioning, as it doesn't have high desertion yet. But these rebellions are soon going to need somebody to try to stop them. As the one in the northern area manages to link up with another anti-war group, anti-war protesters. But seeing this as a problem that could cause a full-on rebellion, they launched a few counter attacks, even managed to take out 3 pockets. But they ran into one problem. A bunch of land got taken. By their enemies, yes. And a landing happens over here. with Iran's ground forces, air forces, and naval forces in a state of high desertion and basically destroyed. Well, these anti-war rebels managed to take up a big chunk over here, with them still trying to overthrow the place. But they can't because the capital isn't in their control. But when the capital does inevitably fall, these anti-war rebels manage to take back their country. And they're happy, but it's too late. They realize, so let's see this peace treaty. India manages to annex southern territories of Iraq, all of it basically, and a bit of the resource-rich region. What's the name of it? It's high in oil, I think. And then this area, well, America decides to take. And well, this is definitely not stable. Just look away. Just look away. You know, they annexed some land here and some land there. America decided to put land there. But then they decide to make a military occupation zone there, / demilitarize. Actually, they make a military occupied zone. They also do this. But this is a demilitarized zone / special occupation. Those are just occupations. And well, Everite annexed land, which is not great. This peace treaty is definitely not going to last. It's probably going to last shorter than the Treaty of Versailles. But that's all for today's video. Please like, subscribe, and comment. Wild Mamper out, but not until you subscribe. Bye!